Good afternoon, welcome back to my channel, and I am going to do a different project than I've done before, but this is one of the reasons that I haven't really had as much time to do that many sewing projects recently, as far as like big projects, is because I let a lot of things around my house go for a long time last year in trying to get videos up, and my husband and I have decided to tackle a lot of the home projects that we really want and need to get done. And so one of those is we needed some new bathroom rugs for our bathroom because the ones we had were bamboo, but they weren't really soaking up water, and we found mold under one of them, and I want ones that we can wash. And the bamboo wasn't really ones that I liked anyway. They were just cheap ones that we found somewhere, and so I've decided to make a few jelly roll rugs to go in my bathroom. And that way they're cotton, they will soak things up, and I can wash them, which is very, very key. So we have a nautical theme in our bathroom, and so there's a lot of blue and gray, but our bedroom is very Victorian inspired or vintage inspired. So I was trying to come up with a fabric that could kind of mesh the two, and I found this jelly roll at a local shop you can see the color scheme is blues, whites, grays, and they're floral. I don't know, it's Sacre Bleu, French General, 100% cotton from Moda Fabrics, I believe, but I bought it at a local store. So I have two of them, and then I have this, which unfortunately I was not able to source this locally. I did have to order these. The guy at the quilt shop, when I bought these, told me that I had a really good idea and he should look into stocking these, but I did have to order these online. And then this wasn't much, so I went ahead and ordered this tube maker. I may or may not use this, but I can use this for other projects as well, but it looked like it might be really helpful in doing the strips for the jelly roll. So I'm doing far more than, I think I'm doing 3 rugs, or maybe 4, depending on how many. We've got a double vanity, the shower, and then the tub that I would like to kind of have at least a small or a larger rug at. So this is what I'm going to use. I really loved the fabric, and I feel like it gives me the floral vintagey feel, I guess, to match our room while still keeping all of my husband's beloved nautical stuff, because it is our space together. So just to unroll this, these are some beautiful fabrics. I'm really, really, really excited. The lady at the store told me that if there was any one print that I fell in love with, then they stock them by the bolt, so I can definitely get more, but this will be fantastic for the rug. So I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to lay out the fabrics yet. I'm going to play with that and see, but I figured I would film this process. I've never made one of these before. I have made a braided fabric rug, but there was no sewing involved in that, and the edges ended up fraying eventually. Now, it did last much longer than I thought it would, but I was using up leftover fabric, and it actually used to be in our bathroom. So these bamboo mats are what replaced my previous braided rug, but it was time for that to go. So I'm really excited to do this. This is going to actually be sewn into the strips and then zigzag sewn together. I think I want to do a longer one for the tub, and then a couple of smaller ones for the 2 sinks and the shower. And I'll show it in the space when it's done. So anyway, I thought this would be fun to film and show the finished results in the space. And yeah, let's get started. I've got to figure out how I want this laid out. So after I got the roll unwound, I initially thought I was going to play around with the strips and come up with my own order, but after looking at both rolls and
the fact that I wanted 3 rugs out of 2 rolls, I just decided to go with the order that the roll came in. And so 1 entire roll together and then go straight into the second roll. And that ended up being a very long roll because this was a very large jelly roll. The one that I am going to show at the very end of the video that I did for the kitchen was the same company, but the roll came in and it was a little bit smaller than this, so I don't know which one is the standard size jelly roll. These are the first 4 jelly rolls I've ever bought. So anyway, it worked, and I just sewed all 80 of these strips together into one really, really, really long roll. But it turned out really well, and I'm really pleased with it, and it's really pretty. Once they were all sewn together, then I came over and just snipped them apart because I chain sewed them so they were all stuck together, and then took the scissors and cut off the extra past each seam, leaving a 1/4 inch on the side of the seam that's inside. That's not going to be visible, if that, I'm sure that makes sense. Anyway, I'm trying to over explain it. Cut the tips and then took it over to the ironing board and pressed it all. I needed to get all of the seams pressed, and then also where each of the strips was folded in half in the roll, there was a very hefty crease, so I needed to get all that pressed out before I sewed the batting into it. Before I put this strip under the machine to sew it down, as I'm showing here, I did do a hefty amount with the clips, used every single one of my clips. You can kind of see the pile over to my right on the floor of already sewn strips. And I didn't have, obviously, enough clips to go down 80 strips worth of fabric. So once it was in the machine, I did what I'm showing here, where I did a small strip, clipped it, and then finished sewing what I had clipped, and then stopped and clipped again until I got to the end of the very long strip. I'm going to say that a lot because it was ridiculously long. And that worked pretty well, as you can see, going down a little bit and then clipping again. Okay, I have 2 jelly rolls done in a tube, a very, very, very long tube. So the next thing I gotta do is figure out exactly how long I want to start the inside of the first rug and
start zigzagging them together, but I also have to change to a different thread because I want it matching all the way down, and the one that's in there I'm almost out of. I used almost 2 whole rolls for this part and sewing them all together. And it was a slightly different shade of blue. So, I'm fine with there being different shades of blue. I was using the thread that I have, but I don't want to start the zigzagging with this thread. So, I'm going to change it to my other thread and get a few bobbins filled because I know I will need them. And we will start zigzagging these together, but probably not today. I have a few other things I need to get done today. It won't be long for you, but for me, it might be a couple of days.
I did not show too much of the zigzagging because it was very cumbersome with all of the strips and the rug itself to work around my camera and tripod. Also, the majority of the time I was doing the zigzagging, my kids were home and in and out, and it was just easier not to. But between every few rows, I went over there and pressed it, and then I just showed the final pressing. So here are the completed rugs before I took them upstairs. And I could not be happier with the disbursement of the fabric and how they all obviously go together. They're all obviously from the same rolls, but none of them look identical. And here they are in the space. I was talking to the camera here, but it was so echoey in the bathroom that I just decided to cut what I said and say it in a voiceover. But that is how they turned out in the bathroom, in the space. And again, as I said, I could not be happier. The only thing that could make me happier is if I could get rid of that awful linoleum floor and that tile I don't like around the tub. But baby steps for us fixing up our house. That's down the road, but not at this time. So anyway, I hope you join me for this rather quick project as far as the video is concerned, although this took me a span of probably over a month to do because I was also doing other things and it was a lot of monotony, so I had to take breaks.
So there we are. I have the longest one in here, or maybe it might not. No, this isn't the longest one. The one with the dark blue on the outside is the actual longest one. But the other two are already, I took this one out of the bathroom to break it in here to sit down, but it's gonna go right back. Anyway, I absolutely love them. I love how they turned out. I think next time I'll stick with one jelly roll at a time and then take breaks in between because I might have gotten a little done with this by the last one, but there was a reason for that. So I'm also completely redoing my kitchen on the cheap right now, or should I say the inexpensive, as in we can't afford a $40,000 kitchen reno, but I can do a few things. So this week was taking all the cabinet doors off, sanding them, cleaning them down, and painting all of them, and painting the actual cabinet bases, which I wasn't going to take the cabinet bases off the wall or out of the kitchen, so that happened in the kitchen. So everything was a mess. So I was alternately working on that and taking breaks and coming in and working on this one and the other two. I love these. I love them so much. I'm glad I did it. I'm glad it is done. Partially because, again, I've been staring at it in my sewing room for 3 weeks and doing little bits of it here and there as I could, but I was ready to move on to another project for now. It's done. I'm really, really glad it's done. It's already the weekend and the kids are already home, hence why I am holed upstairs with the door closed in here because I don't want them in here for this part. So I am trying to do a lot more of projects for my house that I want around the house, like the rugs. Tell me what you think of the rugs. I'm really, really happy with them. Can't wait to make some more for my kitchen. Those are next. I painted my cabinets 2 different shades of green, a darker on the bottom and a lighter on the top. So I want something floral with some green in it to pull out the green to go with the green of the cabinets. So editing Erica popping in to show my kitchen rugs that I did indeed get finished already, because it has actually been months since I filmed the other rug footage. So just to show you a little bit, don't pay attention to the backsplash because it's not there yet, but that's coming and I've got to clean the kitchen up. But that is the green I have on the top, the green on the bottom, and that with the rugs. And I absolutely love it. This one over here goes under the oven, or in front of the oven on the other side of the kitchen. I just scooted it over so they could both be in frame. So yay, they're done. And they are also Moda Fabrics, by the way. And that is them a little bit more close up. And you can see I just did straight seams to put them together on this, and I was totally fine with that. So anyway, yay! That's what I'll do next for the rug, but there'll probably be another home project before another rug happens. Anyway, I'd love for you to like and subscribe and stick around if you want to see any more random sewing, and I will see you in the next video, whenever that is.